Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Stephen Inks. This particular episode, we are going down into the bargain barrel. We're looking at one of the least expensive pens I have ever reviewed on this channel. This is the Mian Mian Marshmallow 332, a pen that is sold at the PenBBS store on Etsy, although I'm not sure exactly what their connection is to PenBBS brand. It definitely looks very different from a PenBBS pen. It's definitely made of different materials, and it looks as if perhaps, not quite at the same quality level, but also at about half the price. In particular, this pen was quite cheap for me because I didn't pay any money for it. It was given to me by Dean, someone who watches my videos, who also sent me a PenBBS pen that I reviewed 2 weeks ago. And this is another pen that he sent me. So I am looking forward to looking at this pen. I can't wait to tell you what I think of it. Is more expensive always better? Well, we're going to find out. Here's the pen. The design is very simple, straightforward. I feel like even if you've never seen this pen, you've seen pens like it before. The finial at the end, it's got threads in it, but it appears to be fixed. So like I can't twist that loose. So that's exactly stuck how it is, which is fine. That's where it's supposed to stay. The clip is thin metal, so it bends for sure, but it doesn't feel flimsy or weak, so seems pretty solid. The cap screws off. I've said before, and I'll continue to say it, I like threaded caps because you have less of a chance of something internal breaking when you get the slip and seal type of caps, like what the Platinum Preppy has, and a lot of other caps find that's a very popular cap setup. I prefer the threaded kind, and these threads are not uncomfortable, so I could grip this pen anywhere I need to make the right lines, and we get some very nice posting, so I can hold even further back if I need to. Appreciate that. It's little details that you have to get right, and you won't even know if a pen has an uncomfortable part to it until you hold it in your hand. I will say the back of this blind cap right here has a little bit of give in it, and then you can kind of see, you can get this up here, that before it starts to move. But it is smooth, and I guess that give only bothers some and not all. For me, if I paid more money for this pen, if it was a more expensive pen, I might be bothered by that, but at its price point, again, it feels like it's pretty decent. Let's see, I don't think that any part of the center comes apart. If I really wanted to, I could get in there and unscrew this this piston, but I think I'll just leave this as it is because there's really nothing going wrong in here, so there's nothing that I have to fix just yet. So we'll just leave it like that, but let's have a look at the nib. That's friction fit. It does have a perfectly rounded end, which for me, that's kind of a point against it. I like when the feed to a pen has a slightly indented shape, because then you can put it in the right way. But maybe this is something that has 360 degrees of rotation, and so it doesn't really matter where you put it in. And feeling it like that, I think that is the case. So it may not matter where you put the nib in. So there's no guidelines. So yeah, there's that feed. And the nib itself nests on top of that pretty nicely. Oh, and it does have some grooves here, which is good. Yeah, it pops right in there, so you don't have to worry about accidentally setting the nib wrong, which is something that can crack your section. lots of things can do that, but it's nice when you don't have to worry about it being your nib. So, okay, let's ink this up and give it a try. I feel like purple is a really fun color for a clear demonstrator type pen where you could see the ink inside. So today's ink is going to be Pioneer Container by Colorverse. It's a great pen. It's a great ink. I think it's not a very famous ink, but it could be. It's purple, but with some nice kind of gray tones to it. If you've never filled a piston filling pen, this is one of the great joys of being a pen person, is to watch this happen. Let's hope it goes well on the first try. So when I twist this up, oh yeah, I can feel it. It's bringing up the ink. Great tip for first time pen users. If you really want to fill your entire piston filler, it's not something that I'm terribly concerned about, but some people are bothered by that space there. What we're going to do is we're going to push it all the way back in, and then we push a few more air bubbles out, and now the second time we fill it, look at the difference. It's a little bit closer. We could even, if we really wanted to, let's see what a third fill does. Well, for this pen, that gives us just about the same as the second one, but that's a really decent fill. Again, that's what you want your pen to do when it's made well enough to make good lines, but I want to see if this pen makes good lines, so our next stop is the sketchbook. So it's time to make some lines, and before we do, context for this pen, it is a budget pen. I think that you can pick this pen up at the time of this recording. You can pick this up on the Etsy for PenBBS, the brand, for about $6. There's some connection with them. This pen doesn't look at all like a PenBBS pen. They distribute it somehow. I don't know if they manufacture it. I don't really have a lot of information about it. But just the context for this pen is a $6 pen. One of the cheaper pens I've ever reviewed on this, so I'm gonna be. I just want the pen to know that if it doesn't make wonderful lines, I forgive it already. But we're just gonna see what we can get out of it. All right, so it works right away, and hey, those are some pretty nice lines. It is extra fine, as was advertised, and I think even when you look at this in the camera, it's so thin that it really looks kind of actually light, which is a good sign if you like thin lines. So, and it keeps up. It's got a really nice, the feed has got some good flow to it. Reverse writing, a little bit scratchy, but it's there. And you can get some even thinner lines. I'm just going to put some reverse written lines next to the original lines, and you can kind of see as it comes into focus. You're definitely getting something a little bit thinner with the reverse writing. So that's forward writing right there, and the reverse writing right there. Cool. I could definitely run circles. I'm actually going to post this pen. I'm noticing that the body feels a little short for my hands. People say in context, though, I have large hands, I have small hands. Maybe if your hands are different sizes, I have a different experience. That's true, but I don't really know if, are my hands large? This one is the same size as this one. I don't know if that helps at all. They're bigger depending what size screen you're watching this video on. I can't be very useful in the what size are my hands conversation. So for me, posted is the way to go, and it's not uncomfortable posted. Unposted, it's a little bit small, but that's okay because I actually like to post my pens, so I'm not faulting the pen that, which is something you should be aware of. And how cool, this is keeping up. It's not blobbing, it's not skipping. It feels pretty smooth too. And if I wanted to, I could do more to smooth it. Like I could run it through some micro mesh. I could widen the slit down the tines with some brass sheets, something like that. If I wanted to do even more with it, I think I could even get even more performance out of it. But just as I received it, really cool. Thanks, Dean. Dean sent me this pen along with some others, one of which has been reviewed on this channel. Perhaps more in the future as time permits. And how cool. Yeah, this is a find. I didn't know that you could get something this good for that amount of money. I think it's quite impressive. Just gonna go a little willy-nilly with these shadows. I could probably do a better job with these, but I just kind of get bored because it's the same thing I always do. Then again, it's good to have consistency from time to time. This YouTube channel has been a thing of consistency for me for the last however long I've been doing it. 2 years, 3 years, 100 years, I can't remember. It's been a part of my life for a while. As have been drawing these 3 shapes over and over and over again. I think sometimes I trade out this pyramid for a rounded cylindrical cone. Is that the right term? Cylindrical cone. And I can't remember when I do that versus when I do this, but that's what I've been doing for a while. Okay, before we go, let me give you some art advice. Shapes. No. Sorry, my brain doesn't work today. Shadows have shapes. I'll go even further than that. Shadows are shapes. What I mean by that is when you're drawing something, you have to consider what is not just what the shape of it is, but what is the shape of its shadow. So like if I had this weird sort of organic shape thing, let's just do this. I have to think about when I'm creating it, where is that shadow going to be and what shape is it going to be? Because sometimes when I go out and I'm trying to blend something, I miss what needs to be a unified thing, which is the shadow and what belongs in shadow. Like right here, this little circular piece belongs in as part of the shadow. This actually shouldn't be shadow. That edge right there should actually be what's called part of what's like called rim lighting, where the light actually on a rounded edge touches just right there. So I'm not perfect about this, and I'm doing a very small drawing, which I fear may be a bit hard to follow. But the idea is that you have the shape, which say like it looks somewhat like this, right? But you also have the shape of the shadow that I'm trying to match the shape of the shadow as much as I can. That when combined, these two together gives dimension to your whole piece. But you can't just keep making dark parts. You'll spread out and your shadow won't work. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but it took me a very long time as an artist to realize that when I'm making a shadow, there's a specific shape that it should be. Maybe I'm just dumb, but if you're struggling with that at all, I hope that helps. Let's do a drawing. Okay, so this one's just like a really quick one. I ran out of ideas, so I drew a cat inside of a shoe. Weird and simple, but I did actually try and do that thing with the shadows, especially with the parts of this particular shoe, and building the shadow shapes. So I hope you see a little bit of an example of what that would look like. Shadows give a lot of dimension. This is actually based on a photo of my actual cats when they were kittens, and they used to hide in my wife's shoe. It's pretty cute. Anyway, they're way cuter than the picture, but I hope you enjoy it nonetheless. And this pen worked really great throughout it. It didn't burp or have a hard start or anything at all. It was just a trooper the entire time. So I'm really happy with it. And I don't know, drawing turned out a lot better than I thought it would, considering that I just kind of jumped in and did something. So get out there and do something. I guess that's the moral of the story. Okay, having looked at it and played with it, this pen is a solid winner. At around current retail price around $6, this is probably the best pen under $10 that I have ever reviewed. That's high praise because I actually have reviewed a few pens in this price point that were quite decent, especially last summer when I talked about my so-called fake pen summer, where I looked at knockoff pens off of AliExpress. But for a pen under $10, this delivers. It's a solid writer. It makes good lines. It is a true extra fine, which is also a nice catch. And it's built in a way that I feel like it will not die on you quickly. Couple of things I'd say that I'm not a big fan of. I don't like how much give there is in the back of this blind cap. It's just one of those things that'll bother me as I look at it, but not as I use it because it works well. I appreciate its posting, that it has a twist cap, and you know, if you don't own a demonstrator pen or you don't own a piston filling pen, but you really like to try it out without spending a lot of money, you could do a lot worse than this pen right here. As a matter of fact, I have heard terrible things about PenBBS's other piston filling pens. Maybe they've improved that, but I've been told to stay away, and I keep that advice because I am not made of money. And if you are not made of money, you might be that this pen is just made perfect for you. Check it out in the link in the comments. Please also check out Dean's artwork, a fantastic artist and a very kind soul. For you, I hope that you are surrounded by some kind souls and have a fantastic rest of your day. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.